Welcome to Wawa Sunwire. You know, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why does accountability seem to operate on, well, different rules for different people in our society, especially when something as sacred, really, as our national identity is involved?
Mhm.
It's frustrating, I think, for ordinary Malaysians to see what looks like, inconsistent standards. It makes you question fairness itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, you see one person held to account, and then someone else, maybe someone with more influence, seems to face different expectations entirely. What do you make of this, this whole idea of accountability and how it plays out in public?
That's a really, really pertinent question, and it cuts right to the heart of a huge conversation that's been happening in Malaysia just recently. A lot of public discussion and concern too was sparked by an incident with a
You, the Terengganu United Malays National Organization Youth.
right, exactly. They accidentally put up a Malaysian flag design, but it had 12 stripes, not the official 14.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's significant.
It is. It wasn't just seen as a small mistake. It quickly became this big point of debate. A national symbol, you see, misrepresented like that, carries a lot of weight, more than just a graphic design slip-up.
And their response, I gather, was pretty quick. They tried to address it fast.
They did, yes. The Terengganu United Malays National Organization Youth put out an apology almost immediately. They explained that the wrong design was made by a freelance designer.
A freelancer. Okay.
Yes, and they called it an unintentional mistake. They even sort of suggested it might have been inspired by that earlier inverted flag issue we saw.
Trying to connect it, maybe?
Possibly. But crucially, they did admit they hadn't checked the design properly before they uploaded it. So, on the face of it, an attempt at explaining how it happened.
Right, explaining the how. But the public reaction wasn't just about the how, was it? There's more context here.
There's absolutely vital context. To really get why people reacted so strongly, you have to remember the very firm stance taken before by
The United Malays National Organization Youth Chief, Dato Akmal, yes. He's been very vocal on flag issues before.
extremely vocal, uncompromising, really.
Right.
Especially thinking back to those incidents with the inverted flags, the elderly hardware store owner, and that school case too.
I remember those. Very high profile.
They were. And Dato Akmal said a clear line then about what accountability should mean. His words were really strong.
What did he say exactly? It's important, isn't it?
It is. He was quoted saying, you cannot just apologize every time. This evil trend must be severely punished. He made it absolutely clear that just saying sorry wasn't enough.
Not enough at all.
No. He stressed that strict accountability was essential for national dignity, he said. So those past statements, those exact words, they're the benchmark people are using now.
Okay, so that's why we're seeing this huge wave of criticism online, the double standards accusation.
Precisely. It's overwhelming. People feel it's hypocritical. They're literally quoting Dato Akmal's own past demands back at the organization now.
Like what? What are people saying?
Well, things like, the youth chief must take responsibility. Direct calls for him to step up.
And I bet the classic cynical line came up too.
Oh, definitely. You see it a lot. If apologies work, then why do we even need the police? It really captures this feeling that apologies alone just don't cut it anymore, especially given the history.
Yeah, it suggests people want action, not just words, especially when those words seem inconsistent with past actions.
Exactly. And that cynicism comes from people remembering how differently things were handled before.
Yeah.
They draw direct lines to, say, the hardware store owner's case.
Right. What are the comments like comparing those?
Very pointed.
Ugh.
There's one going around saying something like, the hardware store owner apologized but was still taken to the station. Why are you fine? Being so blatant with double standards. Such hypocritical politicians.
Wow, that's direct.
It is. It's raw frustration. The feeling is if an apology wasn't good enough for that guy, why is it okay now? Especially for a prominent organization. It's a demand for equal treatment.
And it wasn't just the hardware store, right? People brought up other things. I saw mentions of the sock incident.
Yes, absolutely. The sock incident. Different issue, obviously, but similar themes of national sensitivity. And people remember the consequences there. Even when it was traced back to a supplier's mistake, the business, KK Mart, and its owner faced huge pressure.
So people are connecting the dots.
They are. You see comments like, forgot the sock incident. It was found to be the supplier's fault, but did you ruffians let KK and KK's owner Off the hook?
Strong language, but it gets the point across.
It does. It highlights this widespread feeling that maybe some people face really harsh scrutiny, while others, perhaps those with political connections, get treated more leniently. That perception really damages trust.
And that leads right into the other big criticism, doesn't it? This idea of passing the buck.
Exactly. That explanation about the freelance designer, it just became a magnet for criticism. Many people didn't see it as an explanation, more like an attempt to shift the blame.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I got from the comments. People were immediately questioning their internal checks. Like, why wasn't it caught?
Right. Comments like, freelancer, so you don't need to check before posting, popped up everywhere.
Makes sense.
And also, someone else designed it, but you also need to check, whose fault is it really?
Good question. It suggests people expect the organization itself to own it, regardless of who did the initial design work.
Precisely. The feeling is that responsibility can't just be outsourced. The final okay rests with them. So the sentiment boiled down to disappointment, really. Comments like, shifting responsibility.
Yeah.
No sense of responsibility at all.
It really shows a public desire for political groups to just own their mistakes, doesn't it? No scapegoats.
Absolutely. And that feeling quickly turned into calls for actual action. People aren't just complaining, they're demanding consistency from the authorities.
So calling for police involvement, things like that.
Yes, exactly. You see comments saying, now let's see the police handle this fairly, impartially, and police should also take quick action to show fairness.
So watching closely to see if the law is applied the same way it was in those previous cases Dato Akmal was so vocal about.
That's the core demand. Institutional impartiality. Trust that the system works the same for everyone.
And there's that layer of irony, too, isn't there? The whole what goes around comes around feeling.
Oh, absolutely undeniable. A lot of comments have this sense of almost immediate karma. Phrases like, karma comes too fast.
Huh.
Or even, retribution comes especially fast. So satisfying.
Wow, it's like the public is saying, you set this standard, you pushed for this tough line, and now here you are.
It's exactly that. A very public holding to account, amplified instantly by social media. It turned a potential internal mistake into a major public test.
You know, stepping back a bit, it feels like the core issue here for Malaysians isn't just the flag itself, though obviously that's sensitive. It's this feeling of disparity.
Disparity in how errors are handled.
Yeah, depending on who makes the error. It's not just about one mistake. It feels like it chips away at the whole idea of fairness. When people see inconsistency, it doesn't just make them distrust one group.
It breeds wider cynicism.
Exactly, towards institutions in general. And that's corrosive, you know? It can affect how people engage, their respect for authority. It feels like we're seeing a public that's just less willing to accept apologies without action that matches past precedents. They expect more integrity.
That's a really sharp way to put it. This whole episode, it's more than just a political blunder. It really is a test, isn't it? A test of leadership principles, of consistency in a society like Malaysia that's very aware and very diverse.
A test of applying the same standards to yourself that you demand from others.
Precisely that, especially when you're talking about things like national pride, national dignity. The public reaction isn't just anger, it's a deep desire for fairness, for the law and public standards to apply equally to everyone, no matter their position or affiliation. It shows, perhaps, that public expectations around ethical leadership are evolving.
So, looking at this whole incident, the flag mistake, the history, the public reaction, it really makes you wonder. In this age where information spreads instantly and people remember past statements, has the game changed for how accountability needs to work? Or are some lessons just harder to learn? Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.